Hey viewers, welcome to the opening bit of Let's Play Dragon Warrior 3. Excuse me. Dragon Warrior 3 gives you the ability to pick your party and create your party based around whatever you feel like doing. I am going to be obviously taking the hero. I'm going to be taking one class that I have picked for myself, and we're going to use random.org to pick the other two. So I'm going to have them roll 2 virtual dice for me. We get a 3 and a 4. That is not good. That means I'm taking a wizard and a fighter. I don't have a healer. Great. This'll be fun. See you in the Let's Play with a special guest. Hi viewers, welcome to Let's Play Dragon Warrior 3. I have a guest today.
Hello!
And every day. To keep this interesting, because I think this game is horribly boring.
Hey!
Ragnar's is here. Well, I do. I'm sorry. And I've already Let's Played it once.
Yeah, for me.
The only fun part was the Puff Puff thing.
Puff Puff is the best thing ever.
Which didn't make it into this
Nope.
NES version, I don't think.
Nope, Puff Puff was censored out of the Dragon Warrior games.
Goodness gracious. Now, I didn't know that we got the cool little intro here.
Oh yeah.
The action and the clouds moving at different speeds and directions in the background.
Yeah, it's like a big storm. See, I like this version. I mean, the other version was pretty cool with it being all 3D and all, but this is still pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't get through the interface. That's my biggest. It's just overly not complicated, but you know, seems like it takes 4 steps to do something. It should take 2 steps to do.
Well, they got better as time went on.
This is true. That's why I was happy to do the Super Nintendo version, because it controls like Earthbound. I can do everything with the L button.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already started a quest just to, you know.
Rex Dart.
Rex Dart, Eskimo Spy. He's got a theme song, too.
Really?
He does.
Is this the theme song?
No.
Will we hear the theme song at some point during this Let's Play?
I will track it down, and I will put it in the last video.
Okay.
And it fits exactly, too.
So I will admit, this was my favorite... Or do you have to read this?
No.
Okay. So I'll admit
Because I have
this...
no idea how quickly I scroll through it.
Right. So, this was my favorite NES game growing up.
See, I liked Final Fantasy.
I never could get past Kari in Final Fantasy 1.
Did you go straight from the Earth Cave to the volcano?
I did, because that was what the hint guide, the official hint guide said you're supposed to do.
Yep, the Nintendo Power Final Fantasy issue.
I don't even know if it was Nintendo Power. I think it was like a big, thick tome of guides for different games.
I had the Nintendo Power issue of Final Fantasy. It said to do it in that order too, but then... And I used to do it in that order. And then one day I'm just like, wait a minute. Once I figured out that I can dock the ship at a river, and I don't need the port, I don't have to go through all this nonsense. I can go get the airship, and then I can go do the class change, then I can go... And it made things easier.
That makes sense.
I did have Dragon Warrior 1 though, and somehow I'm not as patient as I once was, but I was able to play through that and beat it a couple of times on the old NES.
I think that's just how it is for us nowadays. Like, you know, back in the day, we had a lot more patience.
We did, this is true.
But newer games have become so quick and bingo bango that we don't have any patience anymore. We expect everything to be fast, except for loading.
And the tutorial.
And the tutorial. And the opening cutscene.
Can
In
you
fact,
guess what I'm doing?
This game actually had a really fast opening cutscene.
It did.
What are you doing? Are you making popcorn?
I wish.
Are you playing
There.
paintball?
I have here in my hand my cart for Final Fantasy
Okay.
and my cart for Dragon Warrior.
Okay.
Still got him.
And in the third hand is your controller, because surely we're not doing this in post.
No, I'm playing with my feet. I have like prehensiled monkey toes. I can tighten wrench or like screws and everything. There's Punch Out, Metroid, Mario 2, Mario 1, Mario 3, Jackal, Zelda 2, Castlevania 2, Legacy of the Wizard, Sesame Street 1, 2, 3, Astro Grover and Ernie's Magic Shapes.
Jimmy the Goof-Off.
Yeah, Jimmy. DuckTales. Excite Bike. Ooh, I gotta let's play that.
I used to have a 150 in 1 cartridge. And, tra-la. And I
didn't have anything in the room to look at this time.
no
So
Irish.
I had to think up names this time. Excuse me. Now this one I put some thought into this one.
Deneb,
Can you guess what Deneb is?
a female wizard.
Yay!
So I guess it's not really guessing if I'm watching you pick your character.
Right. Well, viewers, Ragnats didn't get to see the little intro bit to this video in where I went to random.org and had it pick my party for me.
But I will
Because-
when I actually watch this.
Right. I didn't tack it on.
Glennard, Elucidus, and Sartris.
These names mean nothing to me.
So Jimmy is a goo.
Jimmy's a goo. Jimmy, well, you're more familiar with how this game works. Do you want to tell the viewers about the goof off?
So, in this game, the goof-off was first added, and it was a class that is meant to be completely useless for the first half of the game. But, when you get to the Shrine of Dharma and you can change your class, you don't actually have to do any side quests in order to upgrade a goof-off to being a sage. So,
That's right.
pain in the ass in the beginning, totally awesome in the end.
To be totally honest, I spent so much time fast forwarding through most of these battles, which will not show up in the Let's Play, by the way.
Aww.
I can't tell how much of a screw up he was. Though I much rather prefer the female goof-off sprite to whatever that is with the candy cane.
I kind of missed the old manual for this game where it showed like the Akira Toriyama pictures of each of the classes. I remember the goof-offs looking pretty cool.
I remember seeing some artwork as I was looking for the banner for this.
Mm-hmm.
And the female goof-off was pictured. And looked a lot like... Damn it. What's her name from Dragon Ball? Before it was Dragon Ball Z.
I'm not a big Dragon Ball buff, unfortunately.
What? Really? I
Yeah.
thought everybody loved that show but me.
I don't know. It was kind of boring.
It was.
I mean, there's only so many times you can watch them go before you're
Much
like,
better
okay,
at that than I
guys, next scene already.
But that is the next scene.
It was the entire week's worth of scenes.
That is every scene. You could fit an entire Dragon Ball storyboard on a 3x5 card.
Is it just a picture of Goku going?
They have a little. They have a symbol for that. It's like a percent sign, kind of. They just put that in. This is where the yelling goes. And everybody's always the strongest in the universe.
Of course.
Oh, I should mention, I am editing out battles, like I did in Lunar. You will see one battle where it features basically a set group of enemies from that area, and then I cut out all the others.
Mm-hmm.
as to trim down the time on these videos.
Nope, Jimmy missed. I'm gonna be on Jimmy Watch.
Jimmy Watch 2012.
We will see exactly how useless Jimmy is in
It's
the
like the
few
balloon
videos.
boy thing. I almost wanted to get a merchant, because I never ever get to take one with me.
Except for that one little scene where you have to.
Yeah, but I don't know how useful they are.
I think they can appraise items.
Edit.
You think?
Obvious edit is obvious.
Wow, level ups.
I did.
Jimmy is the highest level.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. He stayed fairly high leveled and statistically fairly high throughout the course of the Let's Play.
He just trips over his own 2 feet every 3 seconds.
Yeah. I think I was looking at it. Oh, yeah. Here's what I bought. That's what this is all about.
Ooh, chainsicle. Those are the
Rex
most...
Dart enjoys the S&M clubs. With all that leather in the chainsicle.
Now this game is before the personality stuff.
Right.
So all those books that you got in the Super Nintendo version, you will not be getting here.
Nope. Tralala is my favorite character.
Well, he's a fighter, of course he is.
Yeah, that's right. She.
Now, did you random the genders as well?
No.
So why didn't you just pick a
Actually-
female goof-off?
Well, I didn't want to have... Because in my mind... Look at that luck. 96.
Is that
In my
Tralala?
mind, I have... This is Jimmy.
Ah,
In my mind, when I'm building parties, I have to do it in ogre battle mode,
okay.
where you don't want to overly diversify your party. You don't want to have like 1 male and 3 female characters, because that makes the male character less effective.
Okay, that's not how it works in this game.
I know, but I played ogre battle way more than I played this game.
Obviously.
So as I'm building parties, I'm like, nope, I can't take that. No. And it's same thing in Final Fantasy Tactics.
Well, you should have made your, like, wizard the male then.
I thought about it, but then I couldn't name him Denib.
Then you could have made your fighter the male. You could still be Tralala the male.
That would be weird. I'm Tralala, and I'm coming to rip your arms off.
Well, that's kind of what's happening now anyway.
That's a Dragon Ball plot. Because his name would be Tralala.
Probably.
Have we ran into, and obviously you're going to be done with your Let's Play of this, I think, before this one is finished.
I hope so.
Have we run into this music in Dragon Quest Monsters yet?
I don't think so. They don't
This
really
is
do the
something
town
I'm
themes.
glad they put back in the game, by the way, the bumping noise.
Yes. I've been watching your Dragon Warrior 2 videos, and it seems to drive you absolutely crazy that they don't have it.
A lot of things in that game drive me crazy.
I have never gotten very far past Moonbrook in that game. It is hard.
It is hard, and so the menu system, I just don't like it. Have you... I think I might have done this yet. There's a gold card. Have you seen me get the gold card yet?
I don't recall. I just was watching Moon Tower today.
I basically cheated my way with slowdown and save states through the roulette game
Right.
and got a gold card,
I
which
did
gives
see
you a
that.
discount at
Yes.
every shop.
Yes, yeah, you got that early.
Yeah, and then you can just discard it.
So once you've gotten it, the effect is there.
Well, no. I was trying to throw something else away and ended up throwing it away instead.
Then again, you have so much money, it doesn't really matter anyway.
Right. But then that got me thinking, I need to experiment. So I made a save state, and I tried to throw away, like, the thief's key. And it let me.
I wonder if you could go back to where you first got the Thief's Key and get a new one.
I wasn't interested enough to find out. I started making backup save states every couple of videos, just in case.
But yeah, that game requires a lot of grinding in order to get your party up to snuff, and I just didn't have the... I didn't have the patience to grind. I still don't have the patience to grind. I find that grinding is, like, the worst gameplay feature ever.
Right. And I agree with that. And I think that might be part of the reason I like the Final Fantasy games more. I don't feel like I have to grind as much in those.
I concur. In fact, as you mentioned to Terry, I mean, the reason I ended up doing an 18-hour battle against one of the bosses in Final Fantasy XII was because I just didn't feel like grinding all the way to level 99, where most people can then beat him in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I felt proud of myself for beating him at the lowest possible level that I could, even though I wanted to rip my hair out after spending effectively a week in this one battle.
I've been there. I've had games like that. Or Final Fantasy Tactics. First time I was playing through that, before I had a Game Shark, right? So I'm grinding like hell to get all these jobs up. Because I bought the guide when I got the game.
Right.
So I'm seeing what all's in there, and I grind and I grind and I grind, and I finally get a party together that's got all the jobs I want. But by that point, by the end of the game, the red chocobos are one-hit killing everybody.
That was a weird thing about the game. Like, on one hand, Sid was way overpowered. On the other hand, the fact that the random encounters leveled up while the regular fights didn't just felt weird.
Yeah.
Chocobos terrified you, and the final boss didn't.
Oh, I think I might have put it up on the forum somewhere. There's a picture I've got that has... Let me go find it. Make sure I don't need to watch what I'm doing. We're not talking about the game anyway.
We do occasionally.
Alright, who's all in this? We got... I see Cloud. I see... I think that's... Oh, what the hell's his name anymore? Butts from Final Fantasy V.
Okay.
And then... What could be Locke? I don't know. And Cloud starts off saying, I don't think it's a good idea to... No, sorry. Right to left. Bartz is saying, hey guys, look, chocobos, and a whole flock of them. While Locke is saying, I didn't know there are other types as well. And Cloud says, I don't think it's a good idea to approach them, though. Locke says, you worry too much, Cloud. Bart says, yeah, they're just chocobos. What could they possibly do to us? And then the sky turns black. And in the top right-hand corner, Final Fantasy Tactics chocobos. And then the bottom panel, everybody is running from a pack of angry chocobos. There's feathers flying, boulders falling out of the sky. And I had to laugh because I really don't like the chocobos in that game.
At the time of this recording, I don't think you have posted it on the forum, but by the time anyone else gets to see it, I'm sure you will have.
I should do that. I can't do it now because I don't have an image hosting service I like to use.
The forum can't host images?
It can.
Ooh, a leather helmet.
Oh, I'm not watching. What am I doing? Oh, I'm in the tower. Great.
I like the music in this game.
I did too. I think the music of this game is really well. I think this is as well with Final Fantasy. I think the third games are really where the series have hit their stride.
Except
they
the
figured
third
out
game,
what
except
works
Final
and
Fantasy
doesn't work.
3 is kind of obnoxious.
Really?
The Onion Knights?
Oh, I see. I never used them. As soon as I could change, I changed.
Well, no, but I mean, like, that game, right? I mean, it was just first off, I tried playing the NES version at some point, or the Famicom version, and I got the crap handed to me. Then when I played the DS version, I made it all the way to the final boss, and the final boss just tore me a new one. Like, it was exceptionally painful.
I should mention at the time we are recording this, I have finished Final Fantasy III, and I really liked it.
It took me at least 3 attempts to finally just give up and be like, this is not working.
The only part that really annoyed the hell out of me, and you'll probably remember this, there was the cave you have to go in, where only the Mystic Knights can damage the enemies without them splitting into pieces.
Yeah.
Well, no one told me there was a town I could go to buy Mystic Knight equipment. So I had one Mystic Knight who had one sword and no armor. And I was just plugging my way through, hoping he didn't die more than I could revive him.
Mm-hmm.
That sucked. And then I finally finished, and like, there's no way they would have made this one section of the game this annoying. And then I found it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was mad that I didn't find it before.
I'm excited about when you hit the fifth games in the two series.
See, Final Fantasy V, I did not like.
Final Fantasy V is still my favorite.
I didn't... I liked how they handled the job system, but I really didn't like the plot. I thought the plot was silly.
I don't know. I didn't mind it. I like it.
Yeah. Well, it's not, not for everybody. I thought the plot in 4 was much better. And I know there are people like, going to the moon, that's stupid. And then when I say, 2 planets merging to form one, that's stupid too. And they're like, shut up. It is not.
I don't know. I mean, I find that most of the Final Fantasy plots are actually pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. For the most part, they're all really well. I just thought 5 was overly silly.
I mean, I also think the Dragon Warrior plots are pretty good, too.
Yes.
I mean, the first couple were very basic.
Yeah.
But, I mean, here 3 is when it really starts picking up, and they start having a lot of plot twists and things like that.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy 3. The one thing I can't stand, though, and 2 did this, and I didn't know 2 did this, was that now you've got your whole group together and you're all ready to go, but wait, before you go and fight the evil wizard, demon, whatever, you have to go and you have to collect 5 things, or 6 things.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2, we're going to call them crests and give them shapes. But we're going to go totally different in 3.
Yeah.
We're going to call them orbs and give them colors. So it's not the same at all.
Don't the orbs actually take up inventory space, though, in 3?
They do.
Because this is still before, like, they had the bag.
Yep, no bag.
Bag is useful.
Yes, it is. The bag and the auto recover function.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that one.
It's kind of neat being able to look back at this game and see how primitive it is compared to the later ones. Like, I played Dragon Quest IX, and I mean, I considered it really easy compared to this.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because, the bag makes inventory management trivial. Yeah, the auto recovery is pretty good. And, after slogging through this, like, any of the later ones are relatively easy.
Yep. And I think that's part of the reason I was always a bigger Final Fantasy fan, because the movement in this game just feels so slow and so sluggish. And like I said, the battle system is weird, and the menu system is goofy, and that was my one big critique about Earthbound when I first started playing it. It's like, oh no! It's the Dragon Warrior menus. This is gonna suck. And the first time I played it, I didn't like it, because I don't have room for anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need 8 hamburgers anymore, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with inventory management the first couple times I played Earthbound, and it wasn't until I eventually played it in Japanese on my GBA that I'm just like... Well, by then I'd already watched your Let's Play of it, so I felt like I knew what I was doing. That was an interesting game to play in Japanese.
Well, I think most games would be interesting to play in Japanese.
Though that game didn't use kanji as much, so I was able to keep up a lot better than I would have otherwise.
Speaking of games in Japanese, we
Yeah.
still need to figure out Harmful Park.
Well, you're supposed to send me screenshots.
I am. Not sure how I'm going to make that work exactly.
Yeah, me neither.
I think what I would have to do is take my video
And
Get
screen cap
screenshots.
everything, yeah.
and then post like an addendum video to each episode that is just the translated dialogue.
Well, no. Once you get the screenshots to me and I give you all the text, you could probably just throw them all back into like VideoPad and use some sort of captioning software to.
I could, but
I'm sure VideoPad can do that.
The overlay in VideoPad is very, very primitive.
So in this game, they made it so trees have physics.
Yep.
Because in 2, they don't. You can walk through trees. I remember at least one of the towns watching you going through the trees, and I'm like, wait, how are you doing this?
It's magic. One thing that screwed me up about coming back and playing this one over was I can't search in anything. I can't walk up to a dresser and search inside the dresser, because he always just looks directly beneath him.
Right.
Oh yeah, no tiny metals yet, either.
Right, that's true. That starts in 4. 4 is such a good game. I love Dragon Warrior 4. That was my first RPG ever.
I enjoyed it, but we never owned a copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
The first game is the one we ever owned.
Oop, cut.
More grinding, I think. That's what happened there,
yeah.
I hope. So I only ever got to play it rented, so we never made it. You know, I think I finished Ragnar's scenario once. And I wish they had a version of that out on the Super Nintendo. I would play that to death.
I actually, first time I played the game, I had already had the nickname Ragnats. It's a nickname my father gave me as a kid. And I wrote, I typed in my name as Ragnats, and then Ragnar's chapter begins. And I swore I must have just typoed my name. But I just let it go, and I'm like, whatever. And then finally, you hit chapter 5, and you play yourself finally. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh! And of course, since this was my first RPG, I was terrible at it. I was complete garbage. But fortunately, Game Genie had a infinite HP and MP cheat for it. So I used it. And then you hit that point in chapter 4 where there's a fight you're supposed to lose in order to progress the plot. And the monster has infinite hit points, and you have infinite hit points, and I was in that fight for at least an hour before I finally gave up and said, maybe I'm supposed to lose this fight. But the problem is that it's the second boss fight in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get up to the area, save, enter the area, get to the first boss fight, not completely fail, which I wasn't sure I had the ability to do at this point because I was terrible at the game, then lose to the next thing, go back, save again, restart with Game Genie on, and put the cheat back on. This was my first RPG experience.
Isn't that great? Doesn't it make you just feel good?
Well, it wasn't until Dragon Warrior 7 where I finally felt like I understood how to play a Dragon Warrior game properly.
I still don't. I still don't know what half the spells do.
Oh, the spells I know by heart. In fact, I feel more comfortable with the old Dragon Warrior spell names than I do with the more modern names. But with 7, it was when I finally realized that you kind of have to grind until you can afford all the items in the local store.
Yep.
And once you've bought all of the new equipment, you're ready to move on to the next town.
Yep. That's a gameplay mechanic I really don't like.
I don't like the mechanic, but I do like the fact that it is a simple gauge.
Right. I wish Final Fantasy worked like that.
Well, Final Fantasy, you just don't have to grind that much.
Well, the first one, though, I mean, you get to Elfland, and you've decided you want to buy the Fire 2 spell. Well, it's more than 3 times what the level 2 spell cost.
Right.
And the most money you're ever going to get from anybody just in the area is probably 300 gold.
Right.
If you live. And don't get poisoned. And don't stay at the inn too much.
Right.
That game used to give me such a hell of a time. And then I found the Peninsula of Power.
But even the Peninsula of Power is a really risky thing if you're not using save states.
It is, but it's doable. And all you really have to do, if you've got a fighter and you can get him a silver sword, you have nothing to worry about.
Do you have the magic ball?
I do. I think.
Goodness gracious, great balls of magic. This is also the game that introduced the day-night cycle.
Yes. I remember. That silly lamp of darkness, which is only useful like 2 times.
I'm trying to remember if day-night cycle was important in 4. I honestly can't remember. I don't think it's that important. There might be 1 or 2 towns that change.
Yeah, I think there's... I know there's at least one thing you have to do at night. I think it's the 3rd chapter?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can't... That's the one where you have to sneak out, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think you can sneak out during the day.
Oh, no. You sneak out... Like, you have to sneak out of the castle in the 2nd chapter. Third chapter is Tulun, who is effectively the cross between a merchant and a goof-off.
Yes, and probably the best character in that game.
He is. Like, his chapters where you get lots and lots of good equipment and money, and when you finally get him back in chapter 5, every time he trips, he does a crit.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells jokes which waste enemy turns. I mean, like, sometimes you're just like, come on, Tulun, stop being a douchebag. But the rest of the time, he's really solid.
And you might be able to do this. You might be the person who can make this happen. There was at least one spin-off game that was just about him.
I own it.
Well, yeah, let's play it, buddy.
It's a roguelike.
That's okay. Make it happen.
Okay. Maybe you should request it.
I have other games I want to request first.
Yeah, you have this horrifying list of games to request.
If I could ever win a damn challenge.
Or get older. It's a good thing you stopped aging, otherwise I'd be in trouble.
Birthdays come but once a year.
Yeah. Mine's coming up soon.
What are you going to have me do now?
I don't know, I'll have to figure
I've done everything you've asked. Leave me alone.
That's not true. You've, like... you keep pushing away half the things I ask. I usually have, like, to ask 4 or 5 different things in order to get one out of you.
Well, I think the problem with that is, and I was just going through the request list yesterday, there are so many games that get requested that are already on my to-do list.
Yeah.
That I feel like it's wasting a request.
No, I understand. But I mean, like, for example, I think it was Oddworld, you said you were having trouble with it. Mm-hmm. StarCon wasn't really your thing, and I think you were still having trouble with it. Like, I mean, I'm just not going to force you to play a game you're not going to enjoy. I think overall you still enjoyed Okage, even though there were a lot of things that pissed you off about it.
There was the camera that pissed me off about it. Everything else I could deal with, but that camera.
I honestly, like, watching you struggle with the camera, I can completely understand. That was pretty brutal.
The Kingdom Hearts camera is just a little bit better. Just a little bit.
It's funny because when I came back from Japan and was working at Koei, we started doing like during lunchtime we would just analyze games, kind of as a bit of a design exercise. Mm-hmm. And we started off by analyzing Koei games. And one of the first ones we looked at was Dynasty Warriors 4. And I remember coming in and seeing a couple of the guys playing it, and like they were all just... First off, they were confused because they had no idea what was going on plot-wise. And beyond that, they were getting so furious about the inability to move the camera. And I'm like, sure you can. And they're like, no, you can't. I'm like, yeah, you can. And they're like, no, you can't. And I said, well, have you tried turning and blocking? Because what would happen is every time you block, the camera would line up behind you again.
Ocarina of Time style.
Sure.
Yeah, like when you Z-target, the camera will automatically like shift.
Yeah, so pretty much, for me, like playing the old Dynasty Warrior games, it just became second nature that you turn, block, and it keeps the camera on you. Mm-hmm. Which is a terrible interface, but it was one that I was used to by the time we got there. And then when later games did in fact add, right stick moves the camera, it was an easy adjustment to make. But going backwards was really confusing for guys.
I hate analog sticks.
Really?
I hate using them.
To be fair, me too. I still prefer to use the D-pad over the analog stick. And I think that's one of the reasons I like the PlayStation controller over the Xbox controller, because it still puts the D-pad as where your thumb goes, as opposed to the Xbox, which puts an analog stick there. I remember this town. This is where the casino's at.
Yep.
But the video's almost over.
It is. I do a little breaking of the casino, but not much. It takes too much time.
See, I played this game back when I didn't have emulators. The casino is one of those things where you just looked at it and you're like, there's no way I'm going to do this, and you just walked away.
Well, I might do one or two in a video. Not this one, though.
I did like the arena. I thought the arena was a neat little feature.
I liked the cheesy game.
Yeah,
myself.
Cheesy's pretty cool. Video's over.
Video's over.
Well,
that's it for this one, viewers.
Toodaloo, folks.
I'll put a picture of chocobos up.
Yay!
We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.